Imagine one of the most powerful predators in prehistoric history suddenly appearing. In a quiet nest hidden among reeds and mud, a small hatchling emerges into the world. At first glance, it looks no different from a young crocodile. Small, vulnerable, easy prey. The swamp is filled with dangers. Birds patrol the shoreline. Monitor lizards search for eggs and hatchlings. Larger crocodiles dominate the waterways. Survival during the first year is a challenge all by itself. Nearby, an adult saltwater crocodile guards the nesting area, unaware that one of the hatchlings belongs to a species that disappeared more than 60 million years ago. The young Deinosuchus enters the water for the first time. Every movement is driven by instinct. Every shadow feels dangerous. Every day becomes a lesson in survival. The young predator quickly learns that remaining hidden is often more important than fighting. It spends much of its time concealed among roots, fallen logs, and muddy banks. When danger approaches, it freezes completely. Patience becomes its greatest weapon. Months pass. The hatchling survives where many others do not. It feeds on fish, insects, crustaceans, and anything else it can catch. Unlike modern crocodiles, however, its growth rate is extraordinary. Year after year, it becomes larger, stronger, heavier, and increasingly difficult to ignore. By the time it reaches several meters in length, other crocodiles begin avoiding it. Its skull develops a different shape. Its jaws become wider and more powerful. Even experienced crocodiles seem uneasy around the growing giant. But Australia presents a challenge greater than predators: the dry season. As temperatures rise, rivers shrink, and water becomes scarce. Animals are forced into smaller and smaller areas. Competition increases. Every creature must fight for access to food and water. The growing Deinosuchus endures these harsh conditions through patience and efficiency. It conserves energy, it waits, and when conditions improve, it continues growing. Years later, the transformation is impossible to ignore. The young hatchling has become a giant. At nearly 9 meters long, it dwarfs most modern crocodiles. Entire ecosystem. Animals choose different routes to the water. Crocodiles abandon territory they once defended. The balance of the swamp begins to shift. Yet one obstacle remains: an enormous male saltwater crocodile that has ruled the river system for years. For a long time, the two giants avoid direct confrontation. They share the same waterways, but keep their distance. Neither is willing to take unnecessary risks. Eventually, however, the river becomes too small for two rulers. The encounter everyone expected finally arrives. The old crocodile approaches first, confident, territorial, accustomed to dominating every challenge. The Deinosuchus remains calm. It does not display aggression. It does not retreat. For several moments, the river falls silent. Then the confrontation begins. What follows is not a dramatic battle of speed. It is a contest of size, strength, and presence. The modern crocodile quickly realizes it is facing something entirely different from anything it has encountered before. The Deinosuchus possesses a level of power that modern ecosystems simply do not produce anymore. After a brief but decisive confrontation, the old ruler withdraws. The message is clear. The balance of power has changed. A new giant now controls the river. From that point forward, the Deinosuchus becomes the dominant predator in its region. Large animals approach the water with greater caution. Other crocodiles avoid direct competition. Even experienced predators prefer to keep their distance. Its influence extends far beyond simple hunting. The entire ecosystem begins adapting to its presence. Years continue to pass. The giant grows even larger. Nearly 12 meters in length, weighing several tons, it becomes one of the largest predators on the continent. And yet, despite its success, something unusual begins to emerge: isolation. The Deinosuchus dominates its environment, but it exists completely alone. There are no others of its kind, no rivals capable of matching its size, no members of its species to communicate with. It is a relic from another age, living in a world that moved on millions of years ago. At night, it drifts silently through rivers that feel both familiar and foreign. Its instincts belong to the late Cretaceous. Its surroundings belong to the modern world. It survives, it thrives, but it never truly belongs. For years, its existence remains unknown. Stories begin spreading among fishermen and travelers. Some claim to have seen enormous shapes moving through the water. Others report unusually large tracks along muddy banks. Most people dismiss the stories as exaggerations, until technology finally provides answers. One evening, a remote infrared camera monitoring wildlife along the river captures something extraordinary. Two glowing eyes emerge from the darkness. The shape behind them is unlike any modern crocodile. Scientists review the footage repeatedly. Measurements are taken. Comparisons are made. The conclusion seems impossible. A predator thought extinct for more than 60 million years appears to be alive. As news spreads, researchers rush to investigate. Governments debate how to respond. Wildlife experts attempt to understand the ecological consequences. But far from the cameras and headlines, the giant continues moving through its river system exactly as it always has. Silent, patient, ancient, a living reminder of a forgotten world. And a question remains unanswered. If a single Deinosuchus could transform an entire ecosystem, what would happen if more than one ever returned? The modern world may have forgotten the giants of the prehistoric age, but deep within the rivers of Australia, one ancient ruler has never forgotten how to survive.